Hey, what's up guys, Dungeon here. So first off, you're going to want a Proof of Triumph, which you get over here at Embark Beach. You need 5 Proof of Legends in order to get it, and also I made a video about that previously. You basically just do the same mission 5 times on different characters, and here's a list of the best missions, which are the fastest ones to do. I'll also have a link in the description down below to one of my videos. So basically, whenever you get these elite skills, make sure you do not forget about it. So we're going to go to Ember Light Camp first off, and this is for the Elite Ellie and the Elite Necromancer skill. And, don't forget the Signet of Captures and everything. And also consider bringing a third Signet of Capture, because there's also other Elementalists and also other, Necromancers that actually spawn in this area to where you can actually capture their elite skills. Which the spawns are kind of random, so you might not want to run them down or anything if they're too far away, but still something to consider bringing. And also, once you get up here, we're going to go to the right side. If you go straight, there's going to be it's going to be harder to basically kill the boss, whereas this path right here is a lot easier. So here's the boss right here. Just take them out real quick, capture the elite skills, and there we go. Pretty easy. And there's the path. So as always, don't forget Signet of Captures, and do not forget about the proof. And we go to Imperial Sanctum, go outside into Reizu Palace, and go ahead and you can get the Kunaveg skill if you want to. And this is for the Warrior, Assassin, and Ritualist elite skill. And also, the Mesmers use Diversion, so it's kind of annoying if you're using dagger spam, because they'll Diversion your Death Blossom or your elite attack, and it kind of messes you up. Otherwise, there we go, just took them out right there. Got the skills. And there's the path that I took. And now we have Nightfall. Once again, do not forget the proof, because you need that for everything to spawn. Go to the Mouth of Torment. And this run is for the Paragon, Dervish, and Monk elite skills. So we just kind of go through here like this. And most of these runs, they're not really too far away from the outpost. And they're except for the last one, Eye of the North, it's pretty far away. But for the most part, these are relatively easy. If you have good heroes, you should be able to do it. And while the game is still active during the anniversary, there's plenty of people around who are actually just grouping up and doing these. So go ahead and take them out like that. Capture your skills. And there we go. And there's the path that I took. And here's the last one. Make sure you have the proof once again. Signet of Capture. And this is for the Elite Mesmer and Ranger skill. And I brought a third Signet of Capture because there's another, and there's the path I took for this one. You can avoid pretty much most all of the foes by doing that. And I brought the third skill because there's another Mesmer elite skill that's an optional skill that you can get. So if you basically go straight through the gate, you'll have this guy right here. Take him out. And I believe there's also a Necromancer over there if you want to get that elite skill. And that's the path. Otherwise, if you do not want that, instead of going straight, you basically go to the right side, like this right here, to basically go straight to the new elite skills. But otherwise, it's I didn't have the other Mesmer elite skill, and I'm out here, so might as well go ahead and get it. You should just run through here. It's pretty basic, and then you get this group right here, and you can just take them out. If you have Mesmers, you can just take them out pretty quickly. Then you capture the skills, and there we go. And there's the path that you can take if you just want the new elite skills, and there's the path you take if you want the additional Mesmer elite skill. As for the new elite skills, I'll go ahead and go over them. So we're going to start off with the Necromancer, Soul Taker. So it's an elite enchantment spell, and your attacks sacrifice health, and they deal additional damage whenever you attack. So this is actually a pretty cool skill, because you can combine it with Dark Aurora. Whenever you sacrifice health, it basically does shadow damage to adjacent foes. And also you lose additional health in regards to that. So it's actually pretty cool, because you can do a lot of additional damage, and I could see it possibly being used with the new Scythe, which is a Soul Reaping Scythe, and also Dagger Spam. The only problem with it though is that whenever I tested it out, trying to work with builds and everything, you actually end up sacrificing a lot of health. Your health goes down really quickly, because you're just constantly sacrificing health every time you basically hit, and Dark Aurora is taking away health also, so it's it kills you pretty quickly. But I imagine that if you have really good healers, or you have a really good team setup, or you might need an additional healer in your team, an additional monk or something that can basically keep you alive. But otherwise, it's going to be interesting what people can actually end up doing with this elite skill. Next, we have the Elementalist elite skill, which is Over the Limit. So this skill right here, basically, it's like a continuous elite spell, and your spells cast basically faster, and they recharge faster also, and you also continuously gain Overcast while active. So I was like using this for a while, and I really didn't really care for it because the Overcast just keeps happening. Like, so even if you're not using any like skills at all, you just keep getting the Overcast. So it's something you would have to like take off and then put back on. So I personally don't really like it because of that. Like, the Overcast just kind of ruins it for me. So it's going to be interesting if people are still able to make a good build for this, but otherwise I'm not very impressed with the skill. Now we have the Warrior's elite skill, which is the 7 weapon stance. So this skill right here, like, at first when I saw it, I didn't think it was that great, but then I looked into it and I thought it was better and better. Because the thing about it is that it increases your attributes, and then you also get that additional 33% attack speed. And that actually makes it pretty good because, one, you can actually max out your progression at basically 20. So you basically like don't even need to have like, so basically you could, if you have like 16 strength, you can basically have 4 skill points put into like whatever it is and basically activate this elite stance, and it hops up to 20. So it'll be like maxed out, which is just like really good. As you can see down below, it maxes out everything. So it's like, yeah, like even if you, like for example, like in this build, I was just using a dagger spam build, and it still shows like Spear Mastery and Scythe Mastery and everything, and how it boosts everything up. And you see how Dagger Mastery is at 20. Like, it's actually like really good. I haven't tested it out yet because the only problem with it is that a lot of the builds nowadays for like warriors revolve around warriors endurance for energy. So it's going to be interesting what ends up happening with this. But yeah, otherwise you get to attack 33% faster, and there's really no downside to it. That's like the first time warriors got something like that. There's always some kind of downside with them being able to attack faster. So I'm actually pretty happy about this, and I'm very interested in what kind of builds are going to end up coming up. And now we have Shadow Theft, which is the Assassin's elite skill. It's actually pretty good. So you just shadow step to the target foe, and basically their attributes are reduced, which, you know, I guess is pretty cool. And your attributes are increased by like pretty much 4. So that's really interesting. And can also be increased by like 15 if you have like 15 or 16 critical strikes. And this counts as elite attack. So I could see this possibly being used like instead of Way of the Assassin, like just use this as like the lead attack and then attack. And then basically, because you'll be able to boost all your attributes up to 20. So your critical strikes will be 20 and your Dagger Mastery will be 20, which is actually like really good. And now we have the Ritualist elite skill, which is Weapons of 3 Forges. So when I first saw this, I thought it was like bad. And then I realized that it actually works on like minions also. So you activate the skill, and as you can see down below, it actually will put on all of your minions. So that's actually really cool. You know, at the same time, I haven't really experimented with it very well. Like, I've just basically experimented with it to see if it actually works on minions, and it does. I'm not sure if they're going to actually fix this in the future, because all these skills, they might end up patching some of them and like in the future. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But otherwise, it does look interesting. And as for the monk skill, we have Judgment Strike, which it's just a elite melee attack, which, you know, knocks down all the foes that are like around you. So this is kind of disappointing to me, but like it's kind of a cool skill. Like, it looks more like a skill that'd be for like smiting as opposed to divine favor. So that's kind of weird to me. Like I guess it's kind of cool if you're trying to make like a melee monk, but it's not really that great. I'm not really like, I don't know, like it's just not that great to me. I mean, the knockdown is good, but it's like the monk skill is kind of disappointing. But still, yeah, it'll be interesting if people can actually make pretty good builds out of this. And now we have the Paragon Elite, which is Heroic Refrain. So when I first saw this, I actually thought this was like pretty bad. And then I basically looked at it again, and, you know, being able to add up all those attributes, if you put that on all your heroes, they can basically have, like with your Mesmers, they can have like 20 domination magic, 20 fast casting magic. And that's actually pretty good. And it frees up like other attribute points that can be put into something else. And then it basically renews every time a chant or shout ends on an ally. So if you have like a hero that has like incoming and fallback, you can pretty much just have it renew over and over and over again. And run basically an Imagon build. So I actually do think this is pretty good. I haven't experimented with it yet. So it's going to be interesting if people actually end up using this like in speed clears or in certain groups, or if they end up using it with heroes. Because I think it is going to open up another build for Paragons, but it's probably going to just be like Imagon, but has this as elite skill instead. Now we have the Elite Dervish skill, which is Vow of Revolution. So this right here, you basically gain a lot of energy regeneration, and it keeps like reapplying itself every time you use a non-Dervish skill. So since you also have the new like Mysticism staff that you can pick up, this is actually a pretty cool thing. Like Dervs are already really good, so I don't really see it being like really meta or anything. I actually think this is a skill that you probably shouldn't have had for Monk, except for it keeps renewing every time they like heal an ally or something. But otherwise, it is a pretty cool skill, and people probably end up making pretty interesting builds around it. But I just don't really see it being like better than what Dervs already have. Now we have the Elite Ranger skill, which is Together as One. And this skill right here is actually really broken, mainly because it affects all allies. It even affects spirits. So if you have a spirit that basically basically it's losing health and everything, it will gain health regeneration whenever you activate this skill, which is just absolutely nuts. So this skill right here is just broken. You don't really need to have like a pet in your party for it to work either. So it's just really good. Like it affects all your allies. It affects minions, like all that stuff. Like it's just really strong basically. So they might end up actually patching this at some point in the future. But as of right now, it's really strong. And even though it says it takes 1 second to cast it, like apparently it doesn't take any time at all. It just instantly activates. Which I did test it out, and I did see it actually like regenerate the health of like a spirit, which just like is kind of crazy. And activates instantly, even though it's supposed to take a second. So this skill right here is actually really good and really strong. And for the last skill, we have the Mesmer skill. Basically, your allies will be able to cast spells faster and they recharge faster. Yeah, so it's actually a pretty good skill because it's like, even though it's a 2-second casting time, like Mesmers can cast it pretty quickly with fast casting, and it recharges pretty quickly also. So it's like you'll be able to keep activating it over and over again. I could see some potential in people using it, but I think I'd rather stick with like E-Surge or something for general PvE content. But I could see like some teams maybe having like one person be a Time Ward player. And who knows, maybe there'll be other skills you can add with this to actually make it really good. So yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you think about these skills. I plan on making additional videos about the skills like as builds come out, and I might even experiment with some builds myself, and I'll end up uploading videos on that if I find something interesting. If not, I might not do that at all. But I do definitely think that there's going to be some builds that are going to come out, especially for like Warrior, that is going to have some potential. And with the Ranger skill, you can just drop it on like any Ranger build and it's going to be good. So pretty excited about that. Otherwise, that's it for the video. Dungeon is signing out.